Good afternoon, everybody. This is another edition of Frankly My Dear. On this good Sunday in May, just want to kind of give some helpful tips and advice for those who recently graduated. First and foremost, congratulations on reaching that goal, man. That's a big thing, man. And you should be proud of yourself, man, and proud of what you've accomplished. But as we all know, I'm sure you all have heard, is it can be very difficult getting your foot in the door into your career, your profession. So, and I too, it took a long time before I finally was able to get into my career and my field of study and just grow and continue to become the professional that I always wanted to be. So, just want to give you all some tips on how to approach the workforce, how to go about looking for employment after you graduate. So, without further ado, it's about 10 tips, no particular order. Tip number one, you have to treat applying for a job like a full time job. What I mean by that is, an example, I probably was applying to 10 to 20 jobs a day when I was out here trying to get employment. And they weren't all with the same company. You have to diversify it a little bit because, you do too much with one company. They kind of look at it like, well, what does this person really want to do? They don't really have clarity on what you want to do, what you want to accomplish. So, but yeah, the key thing, you have to be persistent, man. Like, you have to treat applying for a job like a full-time job. Anytime you have free time, anytime you're just anywhere, man, you waiting somewhere, even at work between your lunch breaks, just apply. There are millions of apps and smartphones you can apply right on your phone in your free time. So that would be my first tip. Tip number two is a good resume. I still have to admit my resume isn't the greatest, but what I mean by a good resume, one tip that I learned before I got this job actually was put basically adjust your resume to the job you want to have. So, for example, when you see those jobs that reference certain qualifications, certain experience, things of that nature, in that section of your resume and your job descriptions of your previous employers and your skill sets, put in those keywords and phrases that are specifically in that job description, that are specifically the skills that they're asking for, because that's how you get past that point where it's constantly saying you get that immediate denial or that automated denial. Those keywords, I guess you move to the next point. It took me a long time before I learned this. I wish I knew it a long time ago, but yeah, those that's how you get past that automated block where you get thank you for applying, but such and such, such and such. So just use those keywords in those descriptions, the keywords and those skills, and put them in your resume for the specific job that you're applying for. Alrighty, so three entry level positions. Sometimes you got to be willing to take a step back to move forward. I mean, some people don't agree with that, but I just want to give one quick example. For anyone that knows me, I was in banking for a long, long time, and what I when I first got to started working at the first company that was a foot in the door to my into my profession, it was a pay cut. I took a pretty substantial pay cut, but I knew it was a sacrifice I had to make to get that experience so that jobs could no longer ding me on experience and try to say they were more qualified or more experienced candidates. So be willing to accept those, look and search and accept those entry level positions just to get some experience, man. If you can go and sometimes you'd be surprised if you do that job well, it's possible you may even get promoted within 6 months of being at that job. My previous job before this one, I got promoted within 6 months, and that was after taking a hit on pay, transitioning from banking to that position. So that would be my tip number three. Tip number four: use your current position to your advantage, even if it's in another field. Use another example. Like I said, I was in banking. My undergrad was in exercise science at ODU. I chose to while in banking, I said, you know what, I'm not able to. It's hard for me to find a job right now, and related to this, I wanted to do cardiac rehab. So I said, you know what, I'm in banking. Let me use that business acumen that I've obtained from working in banking. Let me apply that to my passion I have for healthcare, and that's what led me to pursue a degree in healthcare administration. So that, and I use that to get this position that I have now. You know, I use my knowledge from banking and my passion for what I studied, and I was able to get my master's degree in that field, and eventually found a job, found a career in my profession. So that's tip number 4. Tip number 5: use a range for your desired salary, if possible. If it allows you to do a range, if they ask you how much you want, and try to use a wide range. That way you can and start that minimum point at which you're willing, the minimum amount you're willing to accept, and even the max. The max is more so just you're creating that big window so that they usually meet you somewhere in the middle, which end up being more than you expected to get. So use a big salary range, and then also in that window, it may be it may be within what they want to pay someone for that position. So when you use a range, you kind of open yourself up to a higher chance of getting that position and filling that position for the company. Number 6, if you can, apply directly through the website if possible. I was somebody constantly on Indeed. I still use Indeed. Indeed is great. It's certain situations on Indeed where you can't apply directly through the website. But what I would do is I would see the company that I'm about to apply for on Indeed, and I would Google that company, go to that company's website, and make sure that position was still up there, because sometimes the positions on Indeed really have already been filled and they just haven't made it known yet. So you just go on that company's website and apply directly through that company. I noticed I had more success doing that than doing clicking the apply on Indeed button. Because honestly, most of the time when you click that button, it's a million other people doing that same thing. So it's kind of hard for them to dissect and determine qualified candidates. Number 7, use LinkedIn. I know some people feel it's dated. Some people feel that it doesn't help, but you have to network. I know it's hard, especially coming from certain backgrounds. You know, even my background, you know, you don't know certain people who are in these positions, and it kind of makes it difficult. It's like, man, I just need a foot in the door. I need some help. And you don't know these people. LinkedIn is a valuable resource. Now, I didn't get my job because of LinkedIn, but I did start getting interviews and opportunities to present myself through LinkedIn, because the key thing, you have to use it wisely. What I mean by that is slide into the human resource employees DMs. I was constantly in their DMs. Most of them, for the most part, will respond to you and kind of let you know what you need to do, things that they look for in candidates and things of that nature. Just shoot them a message on LinkedIn. And I mean, you just have to shoot your shot, man. You can't be scared. You got to keep in mind, you want a job, you know, not just a job. You want to work in your career. You don't want to settle. So you got to pursue these things, man. You just reach out to the human resources employees. If you get a director, that's great. But just any of them, just reach out to them, the recruiters for those companies that you want to apply for. And like I said, most of the time they will respond to you, and they'll let you know what they're looking for in potential candidates. Number 8, take constructive criticism from interviews. Always, if you can, if they're certain position that you apply for, the people who interviews you, if they allow it, and you don't get, let's say you don't get a position, ask them questions. Ask them what you could have done better. Ask them what they're specifically looking for, and just use that and incorporate that into your next interview and your next into your resume and things of that nature, just to see what they're looking for. So you know, when you apply for a similar position at another company, that might give you a better chance. Number 9, this may sound corny, but I've seen this work as well. Send thank you emails or cards if you can. to whoever interviews you. I started doing this, and they will respond, and they do appreciate it. You know, they appreciate that you took the time to respond to them, regardless of whether or not you knew if you were going to get the job or not. And they just look at it like, you really did, you really do care, you really do have a passion to get this position, and that it's something that you want, whether they give you the job or not, you're going to get it, you know. So I would advise you to send those thank you notes and emails. That really shows how much you want to work at things. Last, number 10, this is the biggest to me, is to be persistent and be able to handle rejection. I cannot tell you how many times I got rejected along along the way when it came to applying for a job and just trying to get my foot in the door into my field, man. It was constant rejection, you know, and these were situations where I would get to the final step and you just keep getting interview, and you feel you did everything right. They're telling you did everything right just to find out you didn't get the job, man. You got to have thick skin. You got to keep in mind, this is what you want to do. This is your career. This is your life, man. So you got to be persistent, man. You cannot take stuff to heart. It's trust me, I was guilty of this myself, but you just have to be persistent, man, and just fight through rejection and keep going and look at it like if they didn't want you, they didn't deserve you. Let's keep it moving, you know. So these are just some tips, man, for those out there who just graduated, about to enter the workforce, man. And trust me, it's gonna be very hard, man. For some, it depends on what your degree is most of the time, but for some, it's gonna be very difficult, man, if you don't know the right people. And hopefully, these tips can kind of get you at least a foot in the door into being a successful individual in the profession that you choose and the career path that you want to go in, want to be in, man. So thank you all for listening to another segment of Frankly My Dear. You know, I hope you all enjoy this Sunday. Please hit the subscribe button if you want me to do more how-to videos, anything. Just leave a comment, and I'm willing to do pretty much videos for any subject matter that you all have questions about, man. And not saying that I'm perfect or anything like that. It's just if I can share some knowledge, things that work for me and that I've seen work for others, I'm always willing to share. So like I said, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Thank you. You all have a safe, productive Sunday. Thank you.